Math 75.5, dividing polynomials. So the first example is, what do you do when you are dividing a binomial or even a trinomial by a monomial? So in other words, the monomial, one term is in the denominator. So for example, you have 9, the first example that I sent you guys is we're going to divide, this is the monomial and this is the binomial. What you're going to do is break this up. You're going to take this 3x and you're going to put it, this is the denominator, you're going to put this 3x under both the 9x cubed and the 21x squared. So this goes under both of these. And then just do what we just did on the previous section. Simplify. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, and then you have x squared, because 1x cancels with 1 here. And then minus 3 goes into 21 7 times, and cancel 1x. So that's your answer. Okay. Example 2. We are just the same type of problem, but now we're dividing this we're dividing a trinomial by a monomial. So you're going to put 4p to the second power under both of these. So it's 12, break it up, 12p to the fourth over 4p squared plus 24p to the third over 4p squared plus, always take the sign of what you have here, 4p squared over 4p squared. Okay, so here we go. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and we have p squared. And 4 goes into 24 6 times, and we have 1p. And these are the same, they cancel, you have a 1. Very easy. Okay, now here's another example, same thing. You're going to put 2a squared b squared under all three of these. So it's 8a squared b squared over 2a squared b squared minus 6a squared b over 2a squared b squared plus 5ab squared over 2a squared b squared. Okay, so this goes under all three of these. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. The a squareds cancel, and so do the b squareds. So minus 2 goes into 6 3 times. These cancel, and we have a b in the denominator. And then plus, we have the 5 over 2. There's nothing you can do with that. We have an a at the bottom, and the b's cancel. So that's your final answer. Okay, example 4. Example 4 just says divide 579 by 16. Okay, this is a 3rd, 4th grade division problem, and the reason we're doing it right here is because in a second you're going to practice the same steps that you would to do this problem with polynomials. So they want you to divide 579 by 16. So 16 is your divisor and 579 is your dividend. This should come back to you. So what you want to do is think about how many 16s go into 57. Okay, and you're not supposed to use a calculator, but if you need to use one at this point, go for it. So how many 16s go into 57? I believe it's 3. That's the closest. You want to think of how many 16s go into, get as close to 57 as possible without going over. So that would give us 48, I believe. Okay, and then you subtract and you get 9, and then you always bring down the next number, which is 9, and then that would give us how many 16s go into 99? That would be 6. And 16 times 6, that's 36. So that gives us 96. And then when you subtract, you get 3. So 3 is the remainder. And what we do is we write the remainder over the divisor. So it's 36 and 3/16. Okay? So now we're going to apply that into this process into dividing polynomials using long division. So here's our first example. It says, example 5, we're going to divide x plus 7 into x squared plus 10x plus 21. Okay, so this gets tricky, but you guys can do this. X times what? We want to figure out x times what is going to give us x squared, and that would be x. And we're going to put it right above where it says x. So now, x times x is x squared. You're going to multiply this by both of these. So you get x squared plus 7x. Now, just like you did in that long division problem, the next step is to subtract these. The goal is these two have to eliminate, in which they do. X squared minus x squared is 0. And now 10x minus 7x is 3x. You always subtract. The next is you bring down the next term, which is 21. Always bring down the next term. Now, you want to get rid of that. So x times what gives you 3x? And that would be a 3. 3 times x is 3x. And plus 3 times 7 is 21. So when you subtract, you get 0. So in other words, x plus 7 times x plus 3, so x plus 7 times x plus 3 gives us x squared plus 10x plus 21. Now, if there was a remainder, you would add that remainder over the divisor. Okay, but it went into it evenly. Now, to check this, if you FOIL this, you'll see that you get 10x, or you get x squared plus 10x plus 21, and it works perfectly. So let's do another example of one of these. So example 6, and then we have example 7, and we're done with this section. So we've got 2x minus 1. We're going to divide 6x squared plus 9x minus 10. Okay, so the goal, and by the way, if there's any terms missing, so like if this were x cubed and there was, then it went to x, you'd put a 0x squared. You always put, if there's something, if there's a term missing, add a 0x whatever is missing. So we want 2x times what gives us 6x squared. So we need a 3 and we need an x. So this times this is definitely 6x squared, and then don't forget to multiply minus 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Now, what you're going to do, be careful, you're going to subtract these. These cancel, but these two, negative, negative, that turns into a positive 3x. So it's 9x plus 3x, which is 12x. Then you always bring down the next term. Now I want to figure out 2x times what is 12x, and that would be a 6. 6 times 2x is 12x, and 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, okay? Now, I want to subtract. These cancel. This is going to turn into a positive 6. A negative 6 is a positive 6. So negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Now, since there's nothing to bring down, this is your remainder. So how do you write this answer? It's 3x plus 6 minus 4 over 2x minus 1. Or you could have written 3x plus 6 plus negative 4 over 2x minus 1. Now, how could you check to see if this is correct? What you would do is you would multiply the divisor, take the divisor and the quotient, multiply them together, and then add the remainder of negative 4, and you'll get this. So let's try that. 2x times 6, 3x is 6x squared, and then that gives us 12x, and then minus 3x, minus 6, and add negative 4. That's your remainder. So 6x squared, this gives us 9x, and this gives us negative 10. And bingo, it worked. Last example, example